Okay. I was recently asked to do some reviews of some of the comics in my collection. Now I'm going to start by talking about some things that everyone should have, or everyone that likes comics wants to have. People like different things. Some guys like Superman, some guys like Batman, some guys like Marvel, some guys like DC, some guys like X-Men. There's a million different things that people like. But there are certain things that if you feel you're into comics, there are certain things that you feel you must have. Now, starting with Marvel, this is a 6-part miniseries, Wolverine's Origin. Now, Wolverine was a character from Canada who has a retarded, that is the term, retarded aging process. His body is immune to pretty much every disease, and his body can heal pretty damn fast. I mean, he can heal from being shot, being stabbed, whatever, so he is well over 100 years old. And not only that, they guesstimate he can live to be well over 200 because of his aging factor. Now, he never had an origin story. So when they finally gave him one, everyone went crazy and ate it up. Wolverine's real name is Logan, Logan, and no one knows any other name but Logan. Now, his origin story reveals he has amnesia, by the way. He was injured at one point in time and got amnesia. His origin reveals that he was born to a Canadian upper-class family, mansion, estate, whole 9 yards. And it's told from the point of view of this girl here, Rose, who was like a playmate for him, who was hired to come to the house and work with him. That's Wolverine. That's his brother. Now, there's a groundskeeper named Logan who looks exactly like Wolverine will look later on for some strange reason. And there's a big falling out. The groundskeeper's son gets in a couple of fights with James Howlett. They end up killing his puppy, and the family that runs the estate, the Howlett family, dismisses Logan because of his boy's behavior. They tell him to get off the land, never come back. And then he tries to do a home invasion, and there's a bloody confrontation. And it's revealed that the reason why Wolverine looks exactly like groundskeeper Logan is because Wolverine's mom and groundskeeper Logan had an affair, and he was the product of the affair. Wolverine was not John Howlett's legitimate son. Wolverine was the son of the groundskeeper. And after the confrontation, years later, his half-brother comes looking for him. And his half-brother hates him, his half-brother wants to kill him. And some fans saw the half-brother, and they asked the writers, is the half-brother Sabretooth? Because Wolverine has an enemy called Sabretooth who has the exact same powers he has for some strange reason. And the writers say, you know what? That is Sabretooth. Sabretooth is his brother. So the fans basically wrote it out for them, basically. So, and this is a good story, pretty much. I read every couple of years. This is a graphic novel. V for Vendetta. It was also a movie with Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving. Now, this graphic novel, this was published as several books in England, and then it came over here to be with DC, and this is the graphic novel that prints all 10 volumes. And this is Alan Moore, the guy that wrote this. He is an absolute asshole in real life. Yes, some comic movies suck. Yes, some comic movies don't do justice. But Alan Moore is an asshole. Okay? And not only is he an asshole, he's also an ultra fanatical liberal asshole. Now, this was written in the 80s to take place in the late 90s. And the movie was written to take place. The movie's a lot different, by the way. And the movie takes place in maybe 2025, I think. There's been a big nuclear war, and when this book was written, that was a big issue, nuclear war. And in the nuclear war, Most of the world is destroyed. United States is in disarray. Africa is gone. And England has had a fascist regime takeover similar to Nazi Germany. Now, they have concentration camps, they kill gays and lesbians and blacks and Jews and people they don't like, and they do a lot of that shit. So it's very reminiscent of the Nazis. Now, one man, they were actually testing germ warfare on people. They were actually taking prisoners in the concentration camps, and they were giving them poisons and toxins to make them sick and to just real evil, like Joseph Mengele type shit. But one guy, his body became immune to the toxins and gave him super speed and super strength, and he staged the prison breakout. And a decade later, he comes back. This is why he wears the mask. Now, you know the anarchist with the Guy Fawkes mask? Guy Fawkes was the guy that had to blow up Parliament many years ago? Okay. Well, what happens is, you know how some Nazi hunters survived the concentration camp, the most famous being Simon Wiesenthal? And they went looking for Nazis to bring them to justice. Well, he is a distorted version of that. He is looking for the Nazi-style party members who were responsible for his mistreatment, but he is not the least bit interested in court. He kills people, flat out. He tracks them down, he murders them. The scientists, the concentration camp guards, even a priest who becomes a bishop. Okay, all the guys responsible. And he also blows up government buildings, and he's not exactly that sympathetic. In the movie, which is a lot different, he's sort of an anti-hero where he doesn't want to kill innocent people. In the book, a couple innocent people die, he doesn't give a shit. Now obviously, I'm not going to condone that kind of stuff. I mean, he's like a Nelson Mandela character where he was a terrorist. Nelson Mandela was a terrorist. He was a terrorist that fought against bigger terrorists, but he was a terrorist himself. So think of this as a terrorist who fights bigger terrorists. And he befriends a young woman. And in the movie, he's interested in taking over, destroying, dismantling the fascist government. You go on Cinefix, they have a big comparison. I'll put the link below if I can, between the book and the movie. The movie version, he's sort of an anti-hero that wants to overthrow the regime and allow England to decide its own future. In the book, he is an anarchist, and that's why a lot of anarchists today wear the Guy Fawkes mask, because he was an anarchist. He wants to destroy the government and murder his enemies, and then he wants the country to fall into anarchy. It's very disturbing. It has a lot of truth in it because things like this did happen in this world. And this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic future where the Cold War went very wrong. Think of this as the Cold War going very wrong. Another book I have the graphic novel. This is 4 books. And the graphic novel I got when I was 7. Now let's go over here first. We'll go in chronological order. We'll go over here first. This is Batman the Killing Joke. This is written by the same guy that wrote V for Vendetta, Alan Moore. It became an animated movie recently. The green copy is the original copy. This is the copy that is desired by everybody. This is the reprint I got when I was in 4th grade. There's actually 1 page short. It's not ripped out, but the page was not put in during the second run. This was the 20th anniversary special edition. Hardcover. Now, when you get a comic book that's in shrink wrap, you have to leave one in shrink wrap, buy a second copy to open it. In this book, the Joker comes to Commissioner Gordon's house and he shoots his daughter with a Single Action Army 45 Long Colt. She gets hit in the stomach, goes flying backwards, goes through a glass plate, and she's paralyzed. He then takes Commissioner Gordon, and he has no idea Commissioner Gordon is Batgirl, Barbara Gordon is Batgirl. He takes Commissioner Gordon, has some thugs overpower him, strips Barbara Gordon naked, photographs her bleeding out, leaves her behind, takes her father, Commissioner Gordon, to a dilapidated amusement park, puts him on a funhouse ride, rides him through the funhouse, and he's singing a creepy song as the commissioner goes through the funhouse, and they show projections of Barbara naked and shot on the walls to drive him mad. It also gives a glimpse of his origin, called The Red Hood, and this is the greatest comic book of all time, but it's also very disturbing. Barbara was paralyzed, and her father got her a job working for the police department, keeping track of because she has a librarian's degree, and she keeps track of all the crime photos, crime files of everyone in Gotham City. That's her job that her father got her through his political connections as commissioner. And she could not be Batgirl anymore, so as Oracle, she sits in a wheelchair and sits in the Batcave and runs the Bat computer while Batman is at an assignment, and she becomes a champion for real life people who are paralyzed or suffer great injuries. Very, very, very important book. The next book, which is referred to, comes a year later. I bought this when I was 7. I read it when I was 32 finally. It's 4 comic books printed as one book. I have 2 of the 4 comic books. I gotta get the other 2. But this is the complete volume. These graphic novels, trade paperbacks, they're collectible in their own right. Batman had a sidekick named Robin, who was Dick Grayson, the circus performer. Dick Grayson grew up, had a falling out with his old friend, went on his own, became Nightwing. Batman wanted to fill the void. He found some kid trying to steal his tires on the Batmobile one night. The kid had no mother. His father was killed by Two-Face, and Batman took the kid in to become Robin 2.0. His name is Jason Todd. In this story, Jason Todd, the Robin, and Batman go to the Middle East to find out who his mother is, if she's still alive, and to track her down. He does find his mother, and they're in a warehouse, and it turns out the mother's working for Joker. The mother betrays him. Joker beats him to a pulp with the crowbar, and the mother comes to her senses and says, "Oh my God, this is Batman's little friend, what's going to happen to you?" And Joker double crosses the mother, locks them in the warehouse with a bomb, and the bomb goes off. Now, he quote died. That's another topic for another day. But he quote died, and the reason why is because the fans were asked, should we let him live or should we kill him? Dial this 900 number and we'll let him live. Dial this 900 number and we'll kill him. And the eyes had it and he died, so called. And Batman then starts working with Superman, and Superman is in Metropolis, fictional city. Batman is in Gotham, fictional city. But there really is a New York City in this world. Joker stayed in the Middle East. He met the Ayatollah of Iran, became a Muslim, and became a UN diplomat for Iran to the UN. And he actually tries to stage a terrorist attack against the UN. Not because Iran told him to, but because he did it on his own, because he's a fucking lunatic. Very disturbing book, very important. Maybe one day I'll get a mint condition copy online somewhere. This was before I had bags and boards when I was little. Comics weren't that collectible back then. And moving on, the one I have hidden here is called Batman Year One. This was written by Frank Miller, who works for DC and Marvel respectively. He did a lot of work on Daredevil. Some of the best work he did was on Daredevil. And he actually retold Daredevil's origin story when I was a kid. But in this book series, he retells Batman's origin story. And I have the 2 graphic novels collected here. And I also have the big hardcover book, which is the Frank Miller Complete Batman, which is every Frank Miller Batman story along this timeline. Batman's a young guy, he's like 25 or whatever, he's starting out. Very, very simple costume, very simple gadgets, very nasty and gritty and dark. And it's kind of like a noir novel, noir movie. Now, the sequel to this takes place many years later. Batman is an old man. He's over 60. He comes out of retirement to fight against the mutants who are supervillains taking over Gotham. Everybody loves The Dark Knight Returns. I don't. I feel like I'm a traitor by saying that, but I don't love it. I don't. I love this though. This was also an animated movie. So V for Vendetta live movie, Killing Joke animated movie, Batman Year One animated movie. And this is pretty gritty. This is pretty, Commissioner Gordon is a lieutenant at this time. He's just transferred in from Chicago. He's fighting corruption on the police force. Okay, now, elements of this story were used by Tim Burton in 1989's Batman, used by Christopher Nolan in 2005's Batman, used by Zack Snyder in Batman v Superman, even though I didn't like that movie. And you could kind of sort of say that the Gotham TV show has remnants of this in it, where it's dark and gritty and Batman starting out and it's cruel. One thing they changed though, Selina is a prostitute. I have never seen Selina in any incarnation as a prostitute except this one. She's been a street punk, she's been a secretary, she's been a socialite, but never a prostitute. But it is what it is. Okay, Batman Year One, Batman Killing Joke, V for Vendetta, and Wolverine Origin. And that's about a wrap. Thanks.